everybody, and welcome back to Sasquatch Speaks. This is Sasquatch, otherwise known as Gavisas, welcoming you all once again to this dark little corner of the internet, otherwise known as ours. I don't know why it's known as ours. I mean, we should probably figure out a new name for it, or maybe just come up with a whole new intro entirely. But until then, I suppose that this will do. Anyway, for today's episode, I mentioned yesterday that I had a very specific topic in mind, one that I've been kind of saving, hoping for a special occasion, or maybe just use it to lighten the mood. I know that all of last week was some fairly heavy stuff and not very lighthearted at all, except for the first day. I mean, because just talking about how poorly equipped I am to face the world ahead of me is always a very fun and enlightening topic. Well, maybe not so much enlightening, just kind of funny. Just laugh at me. Ha, it's fun. Anyway, for today, this is something that I've noticed a lot. I mean, just in general, I'll be touching on a bunch of them, but the thing that really spawned it was last year, towards the end of it, maybe I think it was like from September to October or November, something like that, a bunch of episodes. There was a short series, a mini-series, so to speak, called The Bible, which aired on TV, and a lot of people were very interested in it. A lot of people watched it, and they took part in it. And I've seen it now. I didn't see it at the airing, but my grandfather, he purchased the DVD and loaned it to me, and I finished watching it just recently. And first of all, for that, since I'm talking about it, it's okay. There's a lot of it that I was noticing was not particularly biblically accurate. A good deal of it, in fact. I wouldn't say the majority, because it's based off of the Bible, so there's got to be at least a majority of it would be factual. I mean, just because you get the names and stuff, places right, probably the dates, you have most of it, but in terms of actual intent and content, it would tend to skew more to the Hollywood theatrics rather than defining message. So if you're looking for it to change your life, probably not. If you're looking at it to have a good time and try and enjoy yourself, first of all, I would recommend that you don't actually read the Bible before watching it, because if you do, then you'll just be like me when watching it, just pointing out all of the theological errors, which is fun in its own right, but it does tend to take away from the, I suppose, artistry of the presented product. But while I was watching it, I happened to notice something. It's something that, like I said, I've noticed before. It's not the first time I'd seen this trend. In fact, I believe it is the only trend which has maintained absolutely 100% true throughout all sort of biblical portrayals in terms of movies and probably even paintings and stories and artwork. And that trend is everyone in them, through every possible moment and in every second on screen, remains incredibly, ludicrously, in fact, dramatic to the point of the ridiculous. I mean, I understand that you're talking about weighty material, and I'm a Christian. I've mentioned this many times before. I think I mention it at least once a day. I don't know if I'm quite that regular with it, but it's something that's been said before on this channel. So, like I said, I've watched a lot of them. Not all of them, of course, but more than half. Let's put it that way. Probably more than 3/4. I've seen most of the sort of religious portrayals and things that are out there, and all of them. I do, like I said, I do truly mean all of them. Whenever they're actually going back, well, with one glaring exception, which I wouldn't actually say is a religious portrayal. I think it was just a mockery, really. Life of Brian, being from Monty Python's group. That's a whole other story. But that really wasn't a religious portrayal. That was a parody that was accompanying a religious portrayal. So it's really difficult to say that, it was a portrayal. It was more of an alternate storyline to events. You can't really say it was a religious portrayal. So I give it a pass. But with that exception, all of the other ones, I mean, from the opening scene to the end, and like I said, I do understand. I'm a Christian, I understand. This is incredibly weighty material. Something you want to make sure you don't do despite to. And something you want to make sure that you don't offend people with. But at the same time, I just don't see how anybody could ever possibly be that over the top serious all the time. And I understand that I'm a very serious person. I clearly the last week is a good sign of that. It's supposed to be kind of a fun place to be, and I just yelled at people for 3 or 4 or 5 days, something like that. I don't even know. It's just bad. But the point here is that religion, I mean, let's take the Bible series, for instance, and the spin-off movie, Son of God, used exactly the same actors. To every single one of them, exactly the same actors. Kind of sad, really. But both of them, just absolutely serious from start to finish. No break. To the point where where I'm watching it and I'm becoming uncomfortable as to how creepy Jesus, or at least the actor portraying Jesus, was coming across. I mean, he's like touching everyone with these meaningful stares, and it's like, I understand. Like I said, I do understand. It's supposed to be waiting. He's the Son of God. He's supposed, came to save everyone. He loves them. Yes, I understand that. But I just don't have this concept of Jesus being on earth and, being that ridiculously serious. I see him as cracking jokes and playing around with people. I mean, okay, let me kind of back this up a little bit. I don't remember the actor's name who plays Jesus in these portrayals or in any of the other ones. He's someone you wouldn't know from Hollywood. I mean, just not someone you're going to recognize. But someone you would recognize, it would be Charlton Heston, who played Moses in the movie The Ten Commandments from, I think it was maybe the 70s or the 80s, something like that. I think it was the 70s. But he plays Moses, and it's this gigantic, huge, beautiful, artistic movie. And I'll be honest, I like that movie. I like it a lot. He also played in Ben-Hur. Again, less problems with that one because, it's actually, supposed to... It's a side story, not the actual story. I mean, it directly relates to the actual story, but it's more of a side story. It's not a mentioned character in the Bible. But when they're actually portraying people in the Bible, people who have named roles, I find it interesting that, again, everyone is just so ridiculously serious. Or in the case of Charlton Heston, as he's playing Moses in the Ten Commandments. Now, I'm going to start with this. I enjoyed his portrayal. I enjoyed his acting on the screen. I thought it was very bold and dramatic, and it stirs the heart and the soul to see it. And he's very, very forceful, and part the sea, and let us go into the land, and choose side are you on, and just Charlton Heston. You can't really top him in terms of thespian panache and on-screen charisma. Just can't do it. But therein lies the problem. Because, again, I know not everybody's read the Bible, but for those who have, you should realize, or you should remember, or people who haven't, I'm about to tell you, that the Bible mentions Moses as being the meekest man in all the earth. The meekest man. I mean, and meek is quiet, unassuming, non-forceful, non-threatening. He was Moses. He was like that quiet guy who sat in the corner during the parties, and like they're passing around the drinks. Hey, Moses, come on, Johnny. He's like, no, I'm good. I'm just gonna be here in the corner. I'm gonna be by myself, and it'll be. He was an introvert. That's what he was. And they picked Charlton Heston. Big, gigantic, larger-than-life Charlton Heston to play the meekest man in all the earth. Just, what? Really? Whoever, I mean, like I said, he did a great job. He was a spectacular actor. His performance was just unparalleled. But they picked the wrong guy. And I understand it's in the 70s, and people may not remember who this person is. They should, because he was also a spectacular actor for his time, and he did play the role better. Would have played that role better in terms of biblical accuracy, being the meekest man in all the earth. The person, had I been the casting director for that movie at that time, with the available actors, with the actors who would have been available to me, instead of Charlton Heston, big Charlton Heston, he's the guy who goes and fights apes and everything else he did. He's a very, very, very versatile actor. But instead of him, my choice would have been an actor named Peter Sellers. And people may recognize the name, they may know who he was. And for people who don't know, he was the original actor to play in the Pink Panther. The original Pink Panther, the good one, not the really crappy remake with what's his name? Steve Martin. Yeah, not that one. That one's bad. But the good one with Peter Sellers. I mean, again, Peter Sellers. But another movie that he did was called The Mouse That Roared. And this is the first movie that I ever saw him in. And he plays this very quiet, unassuming, introverted, non-forceful character who really just wants to be left alone. That's all he really wants to do. Just, hey, guys, just leave me alone. He ends up having he basically plays the exact role that he would have had to play for Moses, where he's just a quiet guy, unassuming, wants to be left alone. Hey, don't bother me, don't mess with me, just kind of leave me alone, let me back out of this, I don't want to be part of the situation. They're like, well, no, you're going to go and it's, the story of that movie is he goes and he invades America, which is funny, and then they steal this bomb, which is more powerful than 1,000 nuclear warheads going off all at once, and it's a really funny movie. I highly recommend that people watch it, if for no other reason than his performance, because it's brilliant, and also maybe so you can get some context as to what I'm talking about. But in my opinion, he would have been a perfect person to play this. Not only because he is biblical accuracy, but he also could have probably played the part with a little bit of humor, because he was a great comedian. Like I said, he was in the Pink Panther, Mouse That Roared, also a very funny movie. In fact, he plays 4 or 5 roles in that movie, which is terrifying because of some of the roles that he's playing at the same time. It's just, yeah, that's a whole other story. But, like I said, he's very, very good, and he could have brought some humor and levity to the situation. And again, it's just, I don't see anyone at all, who could possibly just in real life, as in if we were to meet on the street, I understand that I tend to come off as very serious. Even in real life, I tend to come off as very serious. But there are points where it's just hey, I gotta laugh, and I gotta make a joke, and I gotta stuff just have fun. It happens. We're people. We do that. You can't take that out of biblical portrayal just because, mustn't offend the source material and mustn't offend the... No. There's no way on earth that you can tell me that the Jewish people in those times just kind of gave up the whole humor thing. Well, we're not going to do it. We're not going to laugh. We're going to be very straight-laced and very, very forthcoming, and we're going to march these people through the land. Come, follow me. You, Brenner, you shall not follow us into the water. And that's also a point where I disagree with a lot of biblical portrayals, because they never actually kill the Pharaoh, and they come out of Egypt. But that's a whole other story because it does say that he died along with all of his forces. And none of them have like the guts to actually kill him, which is strange. Especially since some of them are actually trying to go for biblical accuracy, and then they just don't kill him. Quite frustrating for me, really. But maybe I'm a little bit bloodthirsty, but that's me. Anyway, moving on. Like I said, that was Charlton Heston, and that wasn't the one I just saw. What I just saw was the Bible, and I've seen a bunch of other ones where they're portraying Jesus. And again, first of all, it says, as a root out of a dry ground, he hath no form or comeliness. It's talking about Jesus and the fact that, he really wasn't that good looking of a guy. If you look at him, you just be like, okay, well, he's a guy. He's not going to be, super pretty or anything like that. And every single movie goes out and finds like the prettiest guy they can find, the perfect blue eyes and the long flowing hair, and he's just always the perfect epitome of masculinity and suave debonaireness. And it's just like, nah, I don't think so. I personally, if okay, here's the thing: we're going to start casting a Jesus movie right now. Yep, we're going to cast 2 movies. First of all, we're going to recast the Ten Commandments because I hear they're redoing it, which is kind of frightening to me because this is a great movie and it'd be a travesty to have it redone. But we're going to recast it. We're going to recast it my way, with biblical accuracy. So, forget Charlton Heston. I don't know who they could get today to do that sort of thing. Wait a second. Charlton Heston. Ian McKellen. They'd probably pick him because he's got the voice for it. Or maybe what's his name? The guy who plays again opposite him as Saruman in Lord of the Rings. I can never remember his name. Anyway, it's one of those people who has a lot of stage presence and just overcomes everyone else when they meet with them. Rather than pick that guy. Or Liam Neeson or something like that. I don't know why he just came to mind, but he did. So rather than pick someone big like that, Moses, for playing Moses, we'll get Steve Carell. Quiet, unassuming. I mean, he can play the over-the-top person, but he can also play he kind of played it in Evan Almighty, which is not a particularly great movie, but that would be the sort of character that I think would do well as being Moses. And he played that character very well. It was just the script and the rest of the actors which had made that movie not so good, with the exception of John Goodman because he's fantastic in everything. My opinion. Just deal with it. Anyway, so yeah, Steve Carell, you are Moses. Congratulations. You can play that quiet, that meek, unassuming person, just not taking up a lot of room. No, I didn't ask for this, guys. I just kind of showed up, and he said, "Hey, I want you to go, and I want you to take my people out." And he goes, "Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. Okay, I'll go." He shows up. "Hey, God says to lead you out," and they're all like, "No," because if you read the Bible, they just said, "No, we don't want to go because we think that they'll kill us." And he's like, "Okay, well, I'll go talk to him." Okay, he just talks to the Pharaoh, and for Pharaoh, get Liam Neeson. Get Liam Neeson to play Pharaoh. We need to see that movie with Steve Carell just kind of, hey, let my people go. I just want to take them with me, and we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna go out and we're gonna sacrifice to God. No, you aren't going anywhere. I cannot fake Liam Neeson's voice. I'm not even going to try. But just imagine that for yourself. That's the movie I want to see for the Ten Commandments. For Jesus. I mean, again, root out of a dry ground, no form of comeliness. Let's see, who's someone who can break up a little bit, have some comedy. And I already know the answer to this one because I thought about it before I started recording this video, because I'm a smart guy and not just going to make this up off the top of my head in the middle of recording. My pick for the next Jesus movie, because we know there's going to be another one, because it breaks in all the money and all the religious people go and watch it. And I'm one of them, and I watch it too, and then I come back home and I'm very upset because, they're taking things way too seriously. I mean, I understand it's the fate of the world, but come on. Smile. Someone, please smile. So, my pick. Casting for Jesus in, what's a good title for this? Okay, we're gonna call it The Only Way to Heaven. There we go. That's the name of our new movie. We're gonna call it The Only Way to Heaven, and we're going to cast for. I'll get to Jesus in a second. So for Peter, well, actually, the disciples aren't really all that important. You just kind of need a bunch of young folks because they're like the middle age was like 22 or something. I think the oldest one was Matthew, was in his 30s. So just a bunch of young folks, not really anything too special there. I mean, no one really cares about them anyway, right? We're all just here to see Jesus, right? We want to see him get beat up and crucified and murdered and terribly torn apart into many, many pieces. So he's the focus. The only one we really have to worry about casting right is him, and everyone else can just kind of play off of him, right? So first of all, we need to make sure it's a good actor. You know, someone who has some acting chops, who can sort of take that charismatic level and bring everyone with him. And it says that Jesus was that type of person who drew crowds just because of who he was. Okay, got that. We need someone with some charisma. We need someone with some levity who, you know, can make people laugh, who can bring the humor of that situation. I mean, there's a lot of... I know it's a racial stereotype and everything else like that, but seriously, they're Jewish. They have to have some sort of sarcasm or humor or something in them. It's just part of who they are. Just deal with it and put it in the dadgum movie. Sorry. So we need someone who has a little bit of that levity, you know, some of that comedy. They can get it. So we don't offend anybody. Let's actually cast a Jewish guy. I like this idea. This has some merit. This has some potential to be good. Because, you know, well, then, you know, you aren't offending people. This guy, offensive. No, because I think it is. But, no, it's not offensive. So we're going to cast a Jewish guy so no one can complain about that. An actual Jewish guy. Okay. It has some levity, has some charisma, has some on-screen credentials, has some real... some acting chops, so he can actually act both parts. And it's not like both there's a separate person, but I mean, like, usually when you are a human being, you have more than one emotion. And like I said, in the series, the Bible and Against Sin of God is just kind of like it felt very stalkerish. I'm going to put it that way. It felt very stalkerish to see their actor portraying Jesus like that. It's just like, oh, give you this very heartfelt stare, and then I'm going to touch you, and then touch you, and then touch you, and touch everybody, everywhere. Just like, no, this is really uncomfortable, so we really don't want to put that in our movie. So we're going to get, wait for it, Seth Rogen. I said it. Seth Rogen. We're gonna get the guy who played the Green Hornet and played in Baby Daddy, not Baby Daddy, but like Knocked Up and all those other comedies. We're gonna get funny Seth Rogen. He can also play serious. He can play serious. I've seen him do it. But we're gonna get an actual funny guy to play Jesus. And when we go and we do those really deep moments that everyone else is just stares. Very deep, impactful stares. Like we're going to change everything about you with every possible second, and it's really not that way. But instead of the stares, make him one of the guys. I mean, clearly he was a fun person to be around, otherwise no one would have followed him in the first place. I mean, I could be wrong in my quotation of this, or my referencing this, but I believe it was actually he himself, you know, Jesus, the guy, who said, "A man that hath friends must show himself friendly." And if you're just kind of scowling and growling at everybody around you all the time, you're not friendly. Just, no, that's not friendly. That's not the Jesus I know. I mean, it's not the Jesus I know. So you gotta give him some friendly, some laughs. So, you know, like when Peter comes up to him after the Last Supper, "I will never deny you. I'll be with you to the end." Jesus says, "You all will abandon me." He comes up and he says, "I'll never deny you." He goes, "Okay, well, Peter, you know, you're going to deny me 3 times before the night's over." Just like this. I mean, just very matter of factly. He doesn't have to be, "No, Peter, before this night you will deny me 3 times. No, don't do that. Just like, Peter, before the night's over, before tonight is over. You're gonna deny me 3 times. 3 times. You're gonna hear the cock crow, and it's gonna happen. Ah, Jesus! Yeah, you're playing with me. Come on. I ain't gonna deny me. Come on. Okay. Well, we'll see. Okay. Yeah. That sort of exchange. I mean, it doesn't have to be. No, you will deny me because I say so. Blah. There was no way that's how that went. I mean, it's a serious moment, and it's a pretty important piece of scripture, but there's no way on earth he was like, he did this the way that everyone else portrays it. Because it's like, if he was like that all the time. And like I said, I understand that there's important parts where people just have to be serious no matter what. But there's no way on earth he was like that all the time. Just no way. No. Why do we have this concept? I mean, if you believe like I do, and I understand that there are probably some people out there who don't. But if you believe like I do, he was fully God and he was fully man. And even with, the whole fully God thing, and knowing everything from the beginning and how everything was going to play out, somehow knowing that, there's no way on earth. I mean, everyone always says that God has a strange sense of humor. Why wouldn't he show that in his earthly form? I mean, just think about this for a second. And then, like I said, and after you thought about it and come to the same conclusion as I have, call Seth Rogen, cast him as Jesus, and I want to see that movie. I will pay money to see that movie. I want to see that. Like I said, what did I call this? The Way to Salvation or something? Or I forgot. I just said this a couple seconds ago. This was one of those things I made up during the recording. I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have come up with a name beforehand. But The Only Way or something. Yes. This movie. Seth Rogen is Jesus. I want to see this movie. This needs to happen. And like I said, I'm pretty sure they're going to remake the 10 Commandments because they want money. But please don't pick one of these over-the-top action hero type of people. Follow me if you want to live. No. Get Steve Carell. Someone who actually fits the bill. It throws some levity in there. He's a funny guy. When God tells him to whack the rock, whack the rock. Just do it real matter-of-factly and hey, it's water. Look, it's water. Come on, get the water. However that works out. Anyway, I suppose I'm rambling enough. I find this very interesting, very frustrating, clearly, because I've been talking about it for a very long time again. But maybe it's not something that you found interesting. I kind of hope it is. If it's just kind of a lighter topic. I'm trying to do lighter topics, but I keep doing them in a serious way, and I don't know how to stop it. It's frustrating. Dadgummit. Anyway, hopefully you all found this slightly interesting. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, like rating down below would be very much appreciated. Leave me your comments. Do you think that they're on the right track with these sort of things? Do you like the Charlton Heston version? Well, I mean, obviously everyone likes the Charlton Heston version of Ten Commandments because he's Charlton Heston and he did a fantastic job of acting that out. But do you agree with me that they should have cast someone else entirely because biblical accuracy and things like that, and actual people not actually being able to maintain that level of rage all the time? I mean, people get worn out. It's just fact of life. People get worn out. They cannot maintain that level of anger all the time. It's just they'd wear out, and I can't do it anymore. Anyway, like I said, let me know what you think. Would you like to see that Seth Rogen Jesus experience? I mean, I think that'd be like the greatest portrayal ever. But again, I'm probably on the very far outskirts of that college of people trying to determine what is and is not acceptable for biblical movies. Either that or just stop making them. One of the two. Because, like I said, But no. We won't. They want their money. The studios want their money, so they'll continue to make them, and we will all continue to buy them because we're well, maybe not all of us. I suppose I was being a little bit assumptive to just assume that everyone watching this is a Christian, but I am, so I'll go pay and watch them. Well, most of them, not all of them. Anyway, I suppose that's it. If you didn't enjoy this, if you found all this to be like complete bullcrap and you think I'm either could have been sacrilege or you're just an atheist or whatever it is, just leave a dislike rating. Tell me whatever you feel like down below, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.